One of the top features of the MSI Meg B650M Mortar WiFi is its affordability. Given its size, it's a perfect fit for small form factor builds. Despite the size constraints, MSI has managed to provide a good I/O, with room to support a whopping 128 gigabytes of RAM and 6 SATA ports. Now let's address the aesthetics. Some may say the all-black look of the mortar is boring, but I beg to differ. Its subtle diagonal lines and geometric accents on the heatsinks add an air of sophistication without compromising its no-nonsense functionality. The lack of armor might make it seem less appealing, but this is a telltale sign of its competitive price point. The mortar holds its own against pricier competitors. Compared to the more expensive X670E Gene from Asus, the mortar comes with all 4 RAM slots intact, albeit at the cost of one M2 slot. Don't fret though, both M2 slots are limited to PCIe 4.0, which is more than sufficient for most users. It's worth noting that there is no hint of PCIe 5.0 on this motherboard, which may be a disadvantage to some, but realistically speaking, you wouldn't build a budget PC and buy a ridiculously expensive PCIe 5.0 GPU, so the loss isn't immediately impactful. In terms of power, the mortar doesn't disappoint. Despite its small size, it still manages to pack a punch with a 12+2+1 VRM backed by 2 sizable heatsinks. You can rest assured your Ryzen CPU will be well fed and satisfied. The mortar also includes 4 SATA 3 plugs for those of you who want to connect legacy storage drives. While the top X16 slot is reinforced and protected from GPU shearing, the other 2 may get obstructed with a hefty GPU installed. Not a huge problem though, since SLI is pretty much obsolete, and anyone seeking multiple GPU setups is likely to opt for a larger board. One potential downside is the limited number of fan connectors. However, having 3 for fans plus 2 dedicated to CPU cooling is still commendable for a board of this size. And for those of you keen on aesthetics, MSI has included 4 RGB headers to brighten up your rig. Overall, the mortar does an excellent job of utilizing space on the I/O front. With 8 USB ports, including a 20 GB per second USB-C, you'll have plenty of connectivity. Top that off with a 5+1 stack and Realtek's ALC 4080 codec for audio, the latest Wi-Fi standard, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, HDMI 2.1, and DisplayPort 1.4, and a BIOS flash button, and you've got a feature-packed MICRO-ATX motherboard. In summary, what I like is that all 4 RAM slots are available. It's affordable and ideal for small form factor SFF builds. 4 SATA 3 plugs for legacy storage connections, and the good I/O with 8 USB ports, including a 20 gigabyte per second USB-C. On the downside, limited to 2 M2 slots, both of which are PCIe 4.0, reduced number of fan connectors, and no PCIe 5 support. So what do you think? Is this the best motherboard for you? Or do you think another board is better? Check another video where we reviewed the top 3 motherboards for Ryzen 7 7700X and see if any of these is a better option for you. Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Have an awesome day.